Oh, welcome back. It is spring cleaning season and summer months are almost here. You know what? I'm just going to say they're here. It's close enough. Maybe you're tackling some home improvement projects. Well, what better place to start with your summer gathering place? And we're talking about your deck. Joining me today on this Trendy Tuesday, Mr. Handyman, Mr. Bob Skidmore. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's time to get out on the deck, to spend some time out there, provided your deck is safe and good and nice. And it's one of those things, like, it requires some upkeep.
It does. And like you said, safety's number one and beauty's number two. So you want to keep, what we recommend is you want to inspect it.
Okay.
For damage.
So now's a good time to do that.
Right. Inspect, then repair the damage, then clean the deck, and then stain the deck to try to maintain its integrity.
All right, so when we go to inspect it, we're looking at one here. I mean, this could be at countless houses in Wichita. What are we looking for on the inspection?
So three things, I think. First, do the handrails first, because people are going to be supporting their body weight, preventing themselves from falling up or down steps. So make sure that the handrails, give them a good shake and give them a good visual inspection. Make sure that they're in great shape. And, next is the stairs themselves. Make sure the treads aren't rotted so somebody would fall through them. And if you've got one or two or three that are damaged, you don't have to buy a completely new deck.
Okay.
You can just replace the damaged portions. And like some people will see, there are those risers. They're intimidated by cutting risers. Well, you don't have to. You can go to the lumber yard and you can buy pre-cut risers.
Okay.
And then you just cut them to length. So, the calculations are done for you.
Leave it to somebody else. Okay, so we're looking at that. What about the post? The post can cause all kinds of problems for us.
Yeah, and in Wichita, we see a lot of posts, that were sunk in concrete. And as we talked about last month, where you have that interface that holds water, and even a cedar post, it'll rot at that interface. And people get worried because they think they got to build a new deck or replace the 6x6 post. You don't have to in most cases. The rest of the post is going to be structurally sound. So you can cut that post at the base, replace it if you want to, but you can cut it at the base, extract the cement that's underneath there, and then prepare a proper pier. And there's a code for the pier that you can get. It's not rocket science. You take a sonotube and put some rebar in it, and the rebar, you got to have these circles that are, I don't know, X inches in diameter. That's hard to build, but you can go to the local supply houses and buy them pre-bent for a couple, $3.
Buy it all there. All right, so we talked about safety there, kind of first with like the repair and doing all of that. You said beauty second. What do we want to make sure that we think about when it comes to that?
Well, then, the next thing you want to do is, after you've inspected it and you've done the repairs, you want to clean the deck. So, you get the mold, mildew, dust, grime, etc. When we talk about mold and mildew, I'm reminded that, the mold and mildew, that can actually create a slick spot, and a trip hazard or a fall hazard. So you want to get rid of that. You can do it with, a mixture of vinegar and baking soda and water, spray it on and then just let it sit and scrub it and then rinse it off with your water hose. Or what we do is we'll use a power washer, which probably does more of a thorough job. It's a lot faster, and it's kind of therapeutic, Frank, to go out and wash that grime away.
Okay, so we get the grime away. What do we need to do to kind of preserve this?
Seal it, and there's basically three types of sealers. There's clear sealer, which will prevent the UV rays from getting to the wood. It'll prevent more water from getting in there. And you can see the wood grain completely. And like the photo shows, you can apply it with a roller on your deck. The next would be a translucent stain, which is almost a clear stain, but it'll add a little bit of color.
A little bit of color to it. If it's a little faded, that might help.
Same UV protection, same water protection. And then there's solid color stains, which is more or less like painting.
Essentially, you're painting the wood at that point. And when, what do we need to think about? When is it time for us to do this, and when should we call a pro like you guys?
It's just whatever you feel comfortable doing. I mean, it's just whatever you feel comfortable doing.
I feel like
the posts might be better for us to call. That way, you'll make sure that the pier is per code, and we'd pull a permit for that. But replacing a few treads, you can probably do that yourself. Risers on a 10-foot high deck, might want to call us, but it's just whatever the person feels safe doing.
All great ideas to think about. Bob, I appreciate the time and the tips on this. And you can get in touch with Mr. Handyman yourself. You can give him a call. Phone number there on your screen, 316-768-5151. And you can learn more about him. Go to cake.com/guess.